This is Ludum Dare 30 with the theme Connected Worlds. I'm your host, Teacher Gep, and there are some really frickin' weird games this time around. That's a good thing. I love weird games. First up is a roller skating A-list Odyssey by AnnaGavaldaKedavra. It's an auto-run platformer, and like many other games in the genre, it is quite difficult. As you can see, I'm trying to hit the little red lever at the top of each screen, and it took me 15 minutes to be honest, it took me 15 minutes before I gave up without beating it. Fortunately, you can try as many times as you like. The game is very forgiving of your mistakes. Every time you hit one of those red levers, you unlock another background with these subliminal messages that the game is pouring into your subconscious. But if you're trying to actually make sense of this, to decode the message in the background, beware that every time you hit one of the red blocks, it transports you to a random part of the message. So this game will make no sense at all, unless you are very good at it. Or perhaps if you are recording a video. Now, I want to talk about these backgrounds. They may look like they were made in MS Paint, and, well, maybe they were. But they are just right for this game. They have this great vibe, and the animations add a lot of liveliness. I wish more games had animated backgrounds like these. You can imagine how frustrated I got with my skill level in this game. But every once in a while, I unlocked a new background that made the whole thing worthwhile. Here's one. Die. And of course I immediately lost. Well, that's enough of this game. Our next game is MESSENGNR by stvr. Here, we are supposed to deliver messages, which we can open by pressing X, or we can close by pressing C. Other than that, it's a pretty straightforward platformer. Although there are a few buttons for messing with the graphics, the only button that worked for me was G, and that immediately crashed the game. When you beat a level, you get between 1 and 1,000,000 points if you didn't look at the message, but if you looked at the message, you get no points at all. The game takes your desire to know what the message says, and your desire to follow directions and earn points, and puts these desires in opposition to each other. Or, put another way, this game rewards you for not having any fun. But who wants to do that? Visually, this game channels a Hotline Miami vibe, except, without the violence. It reminds us that game graphics don't have to be sophisticated in order to be good. Please deliver my message. These levels are so simple, but they don't have to be anything more. Here's the last level. Please deliver my message. There's actually nothing here in this level. There's nobody to deliver the message to. The game finally forces the question, do you open the message? Yes, there's really nothing else to do here. And what does this message say? Oh, it says we are doomed! Our third game is The Bacon Uprising by Tigro. You have to read these instructions rather carefully, because they tell you about the 4 games you will be playing, and you play all 4 games at the same time. You will be playing all 4 commanders of the revolution simultaneously, and since this is a bacon uprising, the commanders are all pieces of bacon. The ones in the middle are of course obviously bacon, but if you read the description, you find out that the one on the far left is a bacon fighter pilot, and the one on the far right is a bacon computer hacker. We've got a top-down shooter, a marathon typing game, Dance Dance Revolution, and math problems. Thankfully, it is in fact possible to beat this game. In the meantime, however, this game is so chaotic and fun that there is no shame in losing. Here's how you beat the game. First, on the far right, the math problems are always the same, so you can just memorize the answers. The answers are 6, 8, 7, 1, 3. Then, pay attention to the airplane on the far left. Just keep it from crashing for now. Do a few dance moves, and the dancing game will finish rather quickly. The marathon is the easiest. You just have to press a few keys whenever the bar gets low. And after a short time, I've won. There's nothing like a real challenge to make it so satisfying when you win. The next game is Titania by Incredible Ape. This is actually a team project. You can tell they put a lot of work into the graphics. They've even got a nice title screen, and the atmospheric soundtrack adds a lot to the mood. Let's play. So you're on some kind of space outpost. This is a relatively straightforward platformer. Flip some switches, and open some doors. But the game really centers around the dialogue. It reminds me of the 2009 movie Moon, which you should definitely see if you like science fiction at all. Or if you haven't seen Moon, maybe it reminds you of 2001. The game very elegantly sets up the central mechanic, how switches open up the doors with the same symbols. Now, if you don't like spoilers, please skip ahead 1 minute in this video right now, because we are about to see the twist. Flash games do not crash this way. This game is not actually about platforming at all. It is about glitches, and the platforming just gets you from glitch to glitch. It doesn't even get any more complicated. There are no puzzles, almost no new areas to explore, and nothing but a few rooms with switches and doors. That green pill you pick up at the beginning? We are offered no explanation for what it is or why it's there. Now, I'm a big fan of this kind of storytelling. These stories don't give you all the answers. Instead, they make you work to come up with your own answers. The funny thing about this game is, just like MESSENGNR earlier in the video, there are no choices you can make that have a material impact on the world around you. You are just along for the ride. You may feel like you're in control, but this feeling is just an illusion. The last game is Sllukswefa by Nanolotl. This game actually has no music or sound effects, which is a shame, but it's a good game anyway. You start off in this snowy forest, and if you try to explore, it fades out, and you wake up in this modern city. It's a small island, populated by a number of blocky people. You can push these people around, and if you're a horrible person, you can push people into the water. I am a horrible person. Of course, it wouldn't be complete if you couldn't jump off yourself, and this is required to beat the game. And you wake up in hell. Or at least, that's where I woke up. Hell looks remarkably similar to the city. Instead of paved roads, it has roads of bones, and the trees are replaced by these tentacle eye things. That's where connected worlds come into play. Once you get the hedge trimmers, you can trim the real trees, kill yourself, then go back to hell and the tentacles will be gone. But if you are a murderer and a psychopath, then there is still one terrifying thing you can do with the hedge trimmers. You can collect skulls. And you do need skulls, because without skulls, what are you going to place on the demonic altar? Here's the demonic altar, just past those trees. And that's good. It gives us a platform to jump across. So that's all. The judging period ends soon, so go ahead and play these games right now. Thanks for watching.